Alright, welcome to part 2. We're going to look at some things that are a little simpler. We're going to start off with simple structures and then get to something more complex. So, we're first starting off with the idea of NH3. Nitrogen, being in group 15, has 5 valence electrons, plus 1 valence electron for every one of those hydrogens, so we have a total of 8. We need a skeletal structure, so hydrogen cannot go in the center, which means we have nitrogen around. Oops. We're going to go with hydrogen. There we are. And we need 3 of those. Doesn't matter where you put them. The idea is that they are around the nitrogen. We need to make single bonds by putting a pair of electrons in between the element symbols. And then we need to have 8 valence electrons around each nonmetal. That is not hydrogen. Hydrogen's good with its 2. So I look at, does that suffice for our example? We have 2, 4, 6, 8. Good. That works. H2S. So we have 1 valence electron for every hydrogen, so 1 times 2, plus sulfur, being in group 16, has 6. Total of 8 valence electrons. Again, hydrogen cannot go in the middle, so sulfur has to. And from here we need a pair of electrons indicating a bond between hydrogen and sulfur. And then sulfur currently has 4 valence electrons. Now it has 6. Now it has 8, which it needs. Then I count out my electrons to make sure it's how much I have in total. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yay! Next, silicon and hydrogen. Silicon, being in group 14, has 4 valence electrons, plus every hydrogen has 1, and there's 4 of them, total of 8 electrons. So, we have silicon with its 4 hydrogen around it. I try not to dot my I's because that can be confused as a electron. So, pair of electrons bonding that hydrogen, and that hydrogen, and that hydrogen, and that hydrogen. So, each hydrogen has 2, which is what it needs. Silicon has 2, 4, 6, 8. Yay! Woo! Now we got phosphorus and 3 fluorine. Phosphorus, being in group 15, has 5 valence electrons, with 3 of the, actually I don't like doing that, I want to do valence electrons first. So fluorine, being in group 17, each have 7, and there's 3 of them. So this gives us a total of 26 electrons. Oof. Well, which one goes in the center? Because we don't have hydrogen. Well, halogens, which is group 17, cannot go in the center. Also, phosphorus with a P is the least electronegative, so it would go in the center. You can see that out for some time in examples. A lot of these will make tight clusters, very unlike long strands. So, we need a pair of electrons to bond each phosphorus to the fluorine. Currently, phosphorus has 6 valence electrons. An unshared pair will give it 8. Each fluorine has 6 valence electrons, so they're going to each need 3 unshared pairs in order for them to each have 8. You can see I'm not checking my electrons until I'm down to the end. Now I need to count them up. Here's the way I suggest going so you get less confused and are more accurate. So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Awesome again. We're going to do some more complex ones in the next, so stick around and find out.